Even when I found a rusty pipe underneath a plate, it didn't stop me from looking for you.
Marco's face is gonna drop. He's gonna gently pat Danix and be like, where did you find this rusty pipe?
What rusty pipe?
The rusty pipe you just mentioned not 5 seconds ago, my love.
Did I? Oh, I see that rusty pipe! Oh, I see. I think it was in the conservatory. Or the kitchen.
Take
It
me
may have
to
been
it.
the kitchen.
We
It
can
was
walk
on a
there
plate.
together.
I think it was on the kitchen. In the kitchen. Not on the kitchen. On the kitchen
I'm
table.
going to follow Danix while trying to gently admire him and be like, yes, well done, you found something, let's go investigate! Leaving.
Suddenly I stop in my tracks, turn to face her and say, I will show you it.
Him.
I will show you it if you give me a kiss.
I'm sorry, what did you just say there?
I said I will show you it if you give me a kiss, good sir. Look at this mighty dwarven beard and tell me that it does not
Can you deny it?
do something for you.
My facial expression kind of matches Marco as he's thinking like, so you only take me to this if I kiss you.
Yes.
You will know.
My eyes are just alive with lust now.
What's a cleric standing on homosexuality?
Yeah,
Oh,
but he's
so-
kind of. He's been kind of trying to. He hasn't really said anything about it because, you know, it's not really something that's spoken about. So he's very apprehensive about this entire situation he's in. It's like, there's a murder involved. This person in front of me knows where the weapon is, and they want a kiss from me.
Can I just ask, where is this taking place? Is this taking place in front of Mr. Green or Miss Toby?
No. We walked out of the room. I was following him, and then Danix just turned around and was like, "Kiss me, and I shall take you there." And I'm like, "Hey." But Marco kind of thinks to himself, really pondering for a minute. And he's like, "I really need to see that rusty weapon because it might be the murder weapon." So he agrees to it, completely terrified of what consequences this could eventually lead to when they all sober up from the love potions.
Not really sure what to do now.
Well, you got your fucking kiss.
Excellent. I lead him,
Thank you.
to the rusty pipe
Okay.
Okay. Does it have blood
with
in
a
it?
beaming smile on my face.
Okay. Just one more question, just before we do this. Danix,
No, there was no tongue. Please say there was
Yes.
no tongue. I will beat you.
where's the rusty pipe?
It was on a table. There was a platter with a lid over it. It was surrounded by a knife and fork, and it was on a very long table. And it was either in the kitchen or probably the dining room. I would imagine the dining room.
It's gonna be gone, isn't it?
It was in
Make
the
a
room
choice.
with the plate.
Can he roll a memory recall?
Can I roll the memory recall? Because my head's
Because
just
it's
gone
gonna
on
be
that.
better than the drunk person, even though I know where it is, because I remember what was said to Danix.
Which role do you think that should be, guys?
Wisdom.
Concentration?
Wisdom.
Wisdom? Is that even a
Definitely
role?
not intelligence.
I was going to say concentration.
Because you're drunk as
Because he's trying to
fuck.
concentrate on remember. Because there is no wisdom, is there?
Yeah, it's
You
an
say kiss
ability.
successful like this is what I wanted, Lisa. I see you on
Hold on.
Twitter.
What I do is I take her through the exact route that I took. So I will go down to the cellar, out into the conservatory, through to the kitchen, and then through to the next room. The name of which I've forgotten, but I know it was that room.
You end up in the dining room.
Thank you, dining room.
We'll just skip over this bit.
Is the weapon still there? Please tell me it's still there. If it's not there, I'm going to be deeply upset because I just had to kiss one of my friends in one of their drunken stupors, and
So-
Marco's not particularly comfortable with that.
So imagine you lift the metal.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yes.
the rusty pipe is still there.
Excellent.
Oh, Fuck. Okay, I'd like to investigate the rusty pipe. Does it have blood splatters on it? Does it have any rust that seems to have flaked off it? Any sort of changes that shouldn't be there?
So in the area, well, you know,
I don't care about the area. Tell me about the
it's
weapon.
like, so on the weapon, you notice that there is blood, and where there's blood, there seems to have been fragments of the rust that seems to have chipped off.
How old is the blood?
The blood has started to coagulate.
So is it a few hours old? You got to remember, I'm a medic here, so I kind of know a lot about blood.
Yeah.
How old is it? Does it match?
So
up with
you
the type of weapon?
you can tell that this is the weapon that probably killed Miss Black.
Probably or definitely.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I was in the dining room.
Yes, you are.
Surely I would have
I was
seen.
in the dining room.
No, guys. Remember how it was. You guys moved from the dining room to the main hall. Someone could have easily slipped back past you guys, dropped it off in the hall, and then come back to see the congregation.
But they would have had to go past us before we.
You got to remember, this is a manor house. There's roots around and shit.
We
I mean,
locked the doors as soon as we got there.
like, you walked straight to the main hall. Danix took me through to the dining room through the kitchen.
Yeah. But we locked the hall as soon as we got to that room.
Did you lock the doors? 'Cause I got it locked after everyone
You
was in.
closed it as soon as you got in there.
No, I closed it as soon as everyone got in.
Oh, as soon as everyone got in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because as you guys were still, as you all arriving, people were arriving behind you into the hall.
Yeah. When I got there, I waited until everyone was in, and then I locked the door. The moment Alex said that everyone was in the room, I shut the doors. Right, I'm going to pick up the rusty pipe. I'm going to wrap it in a bunch of tissue so that the blood and stuff's still preserved on it, or whatever the hell I can, and keep it on my person.
Okay.
And I'm going to go back with Danix, unfortunately, to interview Mr. Green.
Okay.
There's a lot of typing happening. I feel like I'm missing something from Roll 20. I'm not. So there's something happening between Sam and discussing characters.
No.
Lisa, you're a
no
terrible liar when
Hey.
you're a terrible liar when you're sober. When you're drunk, it's so much worse.
I'm not gonna say she keeps making girling faces, but she's drunk.
Anyway, to Mr. Green.
To Mr. Green, who has now been tied up in that
Yep.
room
Yep.
for a while.
Good. He's a prick. They're all pricks.
Where's Brandon in a room with at the moment?
Ronnie and everyone else.
We're still
Just to clarify-
attached.
So,
to
sorry,
Brandon.
just a quick
We're
question,
still
Lewis.
Ajax is just getting
Hello.
pissed in the cellar. No one cares about him. He's just getting fucking wazzed up his face.
No one's asked me
Are
what
we
I'm doing
looking at
down in
time?
the cellars.
That is the 2-hour mark, but we've got another 10 minutes before we need to break.
Okay, so just before we get to Mr. Black's interview, what is Danix doing down in the wine? Not Danix, Mr. Ajax doing down in the wine cellar?
I'm searching for the most expensive wine I can find, and B, searching for anything else that I might find interesting.
Okay. Would you like to roll a search?
Yeah, sure.
And while he's rolling the search, what's Branza and Rani doing?
Ronnie's probably
I'm
on the
getting
floor
back
like,
up
what the
and
fuck?
hugging Branza.
Branza kind of looked at his blade, but there's something occurred right in him, and he's very upset at this point, and you just see a tear roll down his face.
Hurt me. That's the thing. You've hurt me. But I'm
Here's the
forgiving
thing,
you.
Branza, you don't know that you were taking control of, and you were having a tongue shoved down your throat when the axe glowed purple. So I doubt you saw it.
It's more the fact that all he's noticing is that Riley's getting up, but she looks hurt.
She deserves
So, Ajax,
forcing herself upon you.
while you're searching through the wine, you find a lever behind one of the bottles.
I immediately pull it.
The wine bottle case behind you, so like the wall rack, moves, revealing some more very rare and very expensive wine.
I bag as much as I can carry.
Okay. So that's about what, that'd be about 12 bottles of just like ridiculously expensive wine.
Yeah, yeah.
God's sake, don't fall over.
I take one in my hand as well. I just like pop that open, start swinging at it as I wonder what the other guys are doing. I start wandering back up.
Yep. So now we can go to Mr. Black's interview.
It's Mr. Green.
Mr. Green. Mr. Green.
Black would be a really awkward interview.
Yes, he's dead.
Right, Mr. Green. I'm actually going to motion at this point for Danik to let go of me and sit in the corner and looking posing. Hopefully he will understand.
Okay, I walk over to the corner begrudgingly and cross my arms and try to look like a bouncer.
Yep, that's fine.
Really
that's fine with me.
intimidating. And I'm just
Marco,
staring at...
Would you like to roll and intimidate?
Yeah, I can do that. We'll see if we could weaken his resistance to Megan.
Can I join in the the intimidate? Since I'm here.
You want to do an intimidate as well?
Well, he is trying to interview this person in an interrogation while he's tied up and have absolutely no power.
Got an 18, that's a natural 20.
Oh fuck, that's sweet.
Natural 20.
Whoop whoop!
Marco's not as impressive, but you know, he's got a 17.
Yep. Okay.
Lucky with those today.
So you look superimposing to him.
Excellent!
You both look like ridiculously. You're like, it's like he thought you come in as like a good cop, bad cop. It's like, no, bad cop, worse cop.
Oh goody. Right, Mr. Green, can you tell me what you know about the invitation sent out to all the guests?
Well, the invitations that I sent out were pretty mundane, apart from the ones to the dwarves.
Interesting.
Would you like to explain the ones that you sent to the dwarves? Why should they be any different?
That's the weird thing. It's like the dwarves were just weirdly written. Like most of the
Wait. Who wrote the invitations to the dwarves?
Mr. Yellow.
He said that he gave all invitations to you guys.
He did. Apart from the ones to the dwarves. Most of them were just generic, you are invited to the party.
How long have you been in the service of Mr. Yellow?
It's about 3 years, I think, now.
Okay, so you've been in his service for 3 years. How did he acquire your services?
He purchased me and Miss Topaz from the Orc Chieftain service.
And why were you in the Orc Chieftain's service, if you don't mind me asking? How did you elves find themselves in service of orcs? Orcs are self-serving people. They don't tend to like outsiders. So how did you find yourself working for the orcs?
Let's just say it was a choice of servitude or something slightly less pleasant.
And what was that slightly something less pleasant? I believe you should be talking honestly to me and my friend here.
Death.
Ah, death or servitude. Classic. So, how did Mr. Yellow make the Orc Chieftain sell you guys to him? Because, I mean, you're slaves. You're free workers. Why would he sell you?
Well, it's not very hard. I mean, we're elves. We were basically hated the whole time we were there. It wasn't very hard for him to just basically go, here, have them. I don't care.
Quick out of character question: aren't hated enemies humans and orcs, not orcs and elves?
Human orcs are now allies. They were at war.
Okay, they were at war.
Yeah.
So he sold 2 elves to people he used to be at war with. Okay. Interesting. So, Mr. Green, what was different about these invitations sent to the dwarfs?
Well, they were slightly more personalized.
Explain. You must have read over them before you sent them. I mean, obviously you don't want to upset your lord by sending out errors and mistakes.
Yeah, so most of the ones, like the ones that were given to you, although I think your ones may have been slightly personalized as well, to say
I don't want to hear about the others. I want to hear about the dwarfs.
Well,
don't waste my time, Mr. Green.
I pull out a bone and start gnawing on it.
Wait, you still have them?
I still have them.
So tell me, Mr. Green, about the dwarf invitation. Surely you read them. Surely you know stuff. What do you know?
Just trying to remember now. They were, I mean, most of the invitations were just generic. Like
I
you are
don't want
invited.
to hear about the generic invitations you keep going on about. I want to hear about the ones sent to the dwarfs.
They were special in that they were written specifically for each dwarven noble.
And like I said, you must have read over them. Make sure there were no spelling mistakes. Now tell me, what was the content of these invitations?
Dear name, you were invited to this party. You will attend.
And
I knock on the door.
I'm going to ignore the knocking. There must have been more to this invitation.
There might be some copies of it still left in this room.
Marco is going to express to the damage and destruction. Oh, where do I start looking?
My fist slams on the door.
Danux, answer it.
I rip the door open,
Staring down.
just munching on my bone.
Just want to put something here. Lisa, put the knife away, please, and get it out your mouth.
It's blunt as shit. She couldn't cut a potato with it. Don't worry.
It's just with her, in her mouth. It doesn't seem the smartest of places.
It is so blunt. You could stab a child and they'll get blunt force trauma before they get a stab wound, Sam.
So just to quicken this up, instead of actually saying exactly what's written on there because I can't think of it, I'll just say that the invitations to the dwarves were very personal to each of the dwarven members that came to this party.
What was said to Miss Black?
And what was the wording of my station?
So it'd be to the group.
Yeah, yours was a group
So
invitation.
Danix opens the door, and I say, "Here, take a bottle."